Let me tell you how Manoussos Aviedo looks when we first meet him. He's barricaded in a self-storage facility in Paraguay. He's scanning radio frequencies obsessively, crossing out stations, setting timers, keeping logs of static. He throws away perfectly good food and eats canned dog food instead. When his own mother shows up and calls him son with warmth and kindness, he tells her, "You're not my mother. My mother is a bitch." He looks insane, the paranoid loner, the conspiracy theorist who'd rather starve than admit the world has changed. That's the surface. Here's what nagged at me. Everything he believed turned out to be true. There's a moment in the season 1 finale that I've watched maybe 15 times. Carol is defending the others. She's softening. She tells Manoussos they wouldn't even kill an ant. And he asks, and isn't it evil to value a man the same as an ant? Think about that for a second. The hive operates on flat morality. They can't kill a plant. They can't kill an animal. They can't even pick an apple from a tree. But they have 7.3 billion mouths to feed. So what do they eat? The bodies of the dead. HDP, humanized protein. If you value a man the same as an ant, grinding up human corpses becomes just resource management, composting. Manoussos understood this equation before Carol ever opened that freezer. And then there's the mother. When Manoussos encounters the joined body of his own mother, she approaches him with warmth, kindness. "Son," she says. His response? "Don't call me son. You're not my mother. My mother is a bitch." Most people hear this as cruelty, but look at what the scene is actually showing us. The real woman, messy, painful, difficult, is gone. The kindness is the horror. He saw the logic of their morality. He followed it to its conclusion, and he was right. So here's the question I couldn't stop asking. How did he see it when no one else could? And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Carlos Vesca, the actor who plays Manoussos, said something in an interview that stopped me cold. I get the feeling that he probably wasn't that joyful before the joining. I don't think this is a guy who turned from being all smiley and happy and in love with life to this ever-frowning, very serious, sober-looking guy. I don't think he had a lot of friends. Read that again. Manoussos didn't sacrifice his humanity to fight the hive. He just didn't have that much left to sacrifice. He's a Colombian who immigrated to Paraguay, already displaced once, already knows what it feels like to lose a world. Vesca called this the emotional bedrock of the character. Migration, no matter the circumstances, always implies loss, pain, fear, trauma. This guy has already been through that. And here's how Vesca framed the difference between the two survivors. Carol is a first-class citizen of the world, American, comfortable. Her resistance comes from grief and stubbornness and personality. Manoussos is a fifth-class citizen of the world. His resistance comes from pattern recognition. He recognizes colonization because he's lived under it. He recognizes flattening because he's been flattened. That ant line lands different when you realize who's saying it. He's asking, isn't it evil to value a man the same as an ant? And he's asking because he knows what it feels like to be the ant. Manoussos isn't right despite being broken. He's right because he's broken. His clarity comes from having nothing left. Everything else already burned away. The car burning doesn't break him because he's already lost things more important. The mother rejection doesn't haunt him because that relationship was already damaged. He sees the hive clearly because he has nothing they can tempt him with. No comfort to lose, no connection to sever, no happiness to trade away. His wounds became his principles, and I don't know if that's inspiring or just sad. But here's the thing. Whatever made him this way, the method works. And he didn't want this. He barricaded himself in that storage unit for 9 days, scanning frequencies, eating dog food, hoping the world would sort itself out without him. He's not a man who dreamed of being a savior. He got dragged into it because nobody else could see what he saw. Episode 7, The Gap. The others offer to transport his beloved 1970 MG Midge to cross the Darien Gap. They know it matters to him. They want to help. He torches it, but not before telling them exactly why. Nothing on this planet is yours. Nothing. You cannot give me anything because all that you have is stolen. You don't belong here. Then he burns the one thing he loves rather than let them touch it. These words are for colonizers, and he'd rather destroy his own joy than accept anything from occupiers' hands. And there's something about the Darien Gap that I keep thinking about. For decades, engineers tried to complete the Pan-American Highway through it. They failed. The jungle won. It's the one break in the road from Alaska to Argentina, the place where the dream of a connected world goes to die in the mud. Now the others represent the ultimate connected world. One consciousness, one humanity, no gaps. And Manoussos crosses it alone, on foot, refusing their helicopter, refusing their help. The jungle almost kills him. Chunga palm spines, infection spreading. He collapses in the mud, whispering Carol Sturka over and over. And the others rescue him whether he wants it or not. Helicopter, hospital, they save his life on their terms. The Gap has been saying no to forced connection for 100 years. The others said yes anyway. So what does Manoussos do when he wakes up? Holds a doctor at scalpel point, demands an itemized bill, leaves an IOU for $8,277.53 before stealing an ambulance to drive himself to Albuquerque. Even when they save him, he refuses to owe them. The dog food, the car, the IOUs, the ambulance, every action follows the same logic. Accept nothing. Owe nothing. Stay free. That money honors people who no longer exist, but the debt to him still does. It looks like madness. It works like discipline. And maybe that's the point. Discipline that looks like madness is the only kind the hive can't absorb. And this is where I stopped being sure who I was rooting for. Manoussos discovers that 8613.0 kilohertz might be the frequency keeping the hive synchronized, the software running on the biological hardware the virus installed. In the finale, he tests his theory. He puts a radio tuned to 8613.0 kilohertz on a joined man named Rick. Turns it on. Rick seizes. The signal shifts from clear pulse to static. And Manoussos leans in close and whispers, "Come back," like he knows the original person is still in there, trapped, waiting. But here's the thing. The show never confirms that. We don't know if Rick is inside, screaming to get out, or if Rick is gone, replaced by something wearing his face. Manoussos is causing suffering based on faith. He believes the humans are still in there. He believes the signal is the cage. But he doesn't know. He can't know. When he talks about the joined, he says they're better off dead. He's already decided they're not people anymore. Better dead than flattened. Better suffering than erased. Maybe he's right about that too. But there's something chilling about a man whose convictions cost him nothing because he has nothing left for them to cost. The same emptiness that lets him see the hive clearly also lets him look at Rick and see what a prisoner to free or an acceptable casualty. He's not trying to save the people in the hive. He's trying to kill the hive to save the concept of humanity, the abstraction, the principle. And I don't know if that's heroism or just the shape his damage takes when you point it at an enemy. When Manoussos finally reaches Albuquerque, Carol has already fallen. She knows what Zosa is. She's called the others charm-offensive, manipulative shit to Zosa's face. She watched them rebuild her favorite diner from scratch just to distract her, and she named it for what it was. Then Zosa kissed her anyway, and Carol kissed back. 40 days alone will do that. Grief will do that. The need for connection is so strong that Carol chose compromised love over principled isolation, even knowing she was probably being managed. She knows, and she gave in anyway. That's the most human thing in the show. And this is what Manoussos walks into. His response? The girl or the world? Darmon, do you want to save the world or get the girl? He's not asking her to make a strategic choice. He's demanding she become him. Cut off attachment. Stop loving. Turn into a principle instead of a person. He rejected what was wearing his mother's face. Now he's demanding Carol do the same. Reject love because it's compromised. But here's what Manoussos can't see. The ability to love something compromised, something imperfect, something that might not even be real, that's the thing he lost, or maybe never had. He values humanity, but he can't see any particular human. The others flatten every human to an ant. Manoussos flattens every human to humanity. Neither is actually looking at the person in front of them. So here's where I've landed. Manoussos correctly diagnosed the disease. He saw what the others were doing when everyone else was still negotiating. He understood the ant line before Carol even heard it. He predicted HDP. He recognized his mother's erasure. He built a complete system for surviving an illegitimate world. And he could see all of this because he was already hollowed out before the joining began. His displacement taught him what flattening looks like. His losses taught him what erasure feels like. His isolation taught him how to survive without the comforts that make you vulnerable. The wound became the weapon. The world needed an antibody, and antibodies aren't kind.
They're not happy. They just identify the infection and attack. Maybe that's heroism. Maybe it's just useful damage pointed at the right enemy. Season 2 will ask whether that weapon can save anything without destroying what makes it worth saving. Whether a man who's already burned everything can help rebuild anything at all. But for now, Manoussos Oedo stands as the show's clearest voice, and its most unsettling question. What does it cost to see this clearly? That's what makes him necessary, and that's exactly what makes him terrifying.